close on what positive emotional connection and intimacy looks like is that it really moves you from two people sort of living in parallel to two people who really can be open and share, and more companionship and that sense of, hey, that's my person. If I need to share something, I've got that outlet. We're good. We're safe. Let's talk about how you build that. What are some of the ways that you get to that? Because that doesn't just happen. Proximity won't make that happen. Being
Right.
around each other won't make that happen. It takes intentionality and things to occur. So what are some ways that that happens?
Yeah. Surprisingly, conflict, when you have a conflict with somebody and you work through it and you come out the other side and you feel good about it, there's strength there. You gain strength from that. And then there's this connection that you have that you're like, okay, yeah, we disagreed, but now we've discussed it and we've moved on. And that feels good. Supporting your partner when they're struggling with something, either emotionally or physically, but being there for them.
Yeah. So conflict and trauma sort of forge bonds.
Mhm.
That's a very common thing. I mean, not just in romantic relationships, but look at dynamics in sports when there's, us against them, or look in times of military conflict or
Mhm.
war, like that bonding of going through some level of trauma or traumatic, or that health scare,
Mhm.
that mental health, like helping each other through or dealing with times of stress, conflict, trauma. Those all are
Mhm.
things that will help you build. Those seem to be the maybe less desirable ways in some instances to build it.
Right.
There are other ways to build it. What are some other ways?
Having those deep conversations, not just how was your day and what about the weather or what are we doing this weekend, but deeper conversations on
Yeah,
a different level.
I think the conversations we had in our 20s and 30s are much less consequential than the conversations we have today or
Mhm.
have had over time. And if you look into our 20s and our 30s, some of those deep conversations might have been around life planning and the
Mhm.
goals and what we're trying to accomplish and how are we going to raise our kids and what does our family look like and what's important. Now they're taking a new phase, and some
Mhm.
of our deeper sort of meaningful conversations are maybe a little less enjoyable. Like we have aging parents, we have friends and family that are getting older, and we've been very blessed that we haven't gone through a season of loss, but we're getting closer to those
Yeah.
seasons. And one of my parents had some pretty major health scares in the last year or two. And when you start looking at mortality and you start looking at well, and my parents are getting older, that's okay. This is going to be a season we're into, and having someone that you can pre-discuss those with so that you can like, man, I'm concerned about this, or I'm worried, or how am I going to deal with this? What's our support look like for this? That's years of intimacy built up
Mhm.
so that you have that connection, because we're going to go through another season where that stuff starts happening and it becomes very traumatic. We have had in our own personal relationship some seasons that look like that on the health side. Both of our daughters have muscular dystrophy. And when they were teenagers, they went through a phase where they had declining health, and you and I had to navigate that season together. So we forged our emotional connection really before that to help us through that. But then that laid the foundation for this season we're in.
Yeah. So even though we've been together for 30 plus years, that emotional connection is still growing and building. And, people think, oh, we've been together for 3 decades. You're as emotionally connected as you get. Nope.
Nope.
It always it continues, and that's healthy. And that's how it should be.
Talk a little bit about the role that physical connection plays in building an emotional connection, because we've been talking about these as very discrete types of intimacy. They're not discrete, they overlap. So, how does physical intimacy, and not sex, but physical intimacy, we're getting to the sex, I promise.
Yeah, that a healthy physical connection also contributes to a good intimacy with your partner, and that doesn't, like you said, not about sex, but that could just be touch as you pass each other in the hallway, a hug, a kiss on the cheek. It doesn't have to, but having that physical connection, and I believe on the daily, you need to have that. So we're not saying have sex daily, but touch.
We aren't. We should be.
We should.
Go on. Sorry.
That's not what I was referring to in this instant. I was talking about how having a healthy physical connection just deepens the emotional connection as well.
Yeah. And it's not just those hugs and those sort of things, it's the calming nature of touch. Let's say you're getting agitated or I'm getting upset about something. It's that hand on the leg when you're getting annoyed by something. Maybe someone you're talking to has said something that's annoying you, and it's that little, hey, calm down, we got this. It's those little resets that are physical in nature that actually have that emotional response. The body's pretty amazing. It'll release different chemicals with just very little touch and reinforcement. So there is a physical component in building your emotional connection.
Definitely. And then I think words of appreciation. Some people find it really important to say, I love you on the daily, or thank you for taking out the garbage, even though you're the one that always takes out the garbage. That doesn't mean you don't show gratitude for that. People like to feel appreciated. And I think that's necessary, very much so, in a strong, intimate relationship.
Yeah. I think it's really important for men, maybe even more so, don't want to cause hate or anything. But I think a lot of the things men do just go unseen, and they just are taking care of business and everything because they're supposed to, is expected. And your example of the trash is maybe a very small one, but there's just other things. And just simply acknowledging that, yeah, you have your things you're doing, I have my things I'm doing, but just showing that recognition. I appreciate you showing up. I think it's important to go that way, but I think it's really, in particular, important for a man's spirit to sort of like know that the people in his life that he's working hard for and doing good things for, just show a little appreciation for it and acknowledgement. It's just, I think it's important.
Okay.
So I think those words of appreciation are often unspoken.
Right.
What was it? There's some little catchy little thing that appreciation unspoken is non-existent or something like that. Like you have to speak these things into the world because otherwise people don't know. Well, of course I appreciate it.
Yeah.
Do you? I don't know.
Yeah, because you never tell me.
Doesn't look like it.
Yeah, that's a theme in therapy sessions as well. For both, I work with men and women, and they both say it's just, I just don't feel.
It'd be nice to hear it occasionally.
Right? Yeah. And I said, well, have you told your spouse that? No.
No, exactly.
I get that a lot.
So I think that's a good discussion of emotional intimacy to help you become more intentional with creating your intimate connection and your emotional intimacy in your relationship. Melissa has created a free guide to help you on that journey. So Melissa, what does this free guide do, and how is it actually a relationship tool that someone listening could use to help them build an emotional connection or an intimate connection?
I like lists, and I like checking things off. So
yes,
this is
you do. Intimacy list, checklist.
It's a maintaining intimacy checklist. It's ways to stay intentional on a daily basis, on a weekly basis, and beyond. And then also there's a section for reconnecting if you feel you're in a rut. It has some suggestions for reconnecting with your partner as well.